Hallå! Hi. Welcome back. Please bring your knitting and knit with me. Hi, I'm Maja. You can... I'm trying not to turn the chair around. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as sjomajlin. And I'm coming to you from Jönköping, Sweden, as usual. Today is Friday the 4th of March. I have a new camera and a new setup. Hopefully you won't really notice the difference, but excuse me, this is the first time I'm trying it out, so if there are some problems, please let me know and I'll try to, you know. I do have, can you see it? You sort of almost can. Humidifier, is that the word? So if and when you see vapor rising behind me, that's okay. It is as it should be. It's not smoke. There's not a fire going on. What else? I actually do have some notes written down today, which I usually don't have because it usually just makes me more confused. But okay, so for returning viewers, it's been 2 weeks since last because I needed a little break, and last Friday we had the funeral for my uncle who passed away very quickly. It was a beautiful ceremony, and I mean, as far as a funeral goes, it was nice to meet my cousins, even though I would have loved to meet them under different circumstances, obviously. But yeah, it is what it is. It was a good day, considering, all things considering. Yeah. And again, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that it's been, excuse my French, it's been a shitty few weeks or months even, with so much stuff just, yeah. So I just took the time to take a week off, so I have a lot of things to show you today. A lot of things to show you. So, as I said, please knit with me, and it's completely okay to watch in sections if you need more than one sitting. I'm just trying to keep sure that I'm doing the increases when I should and not when I shouldn't, so that's why I'm looking down, sorry. What was I saying? Yes, do please feel free to watch in chunks if you need to, because I'm trying not to rush through things, because that won't make anything better. So, yeah. I also just want to mention, I did post a little clip pretty much 2 weeks ago of me playing the cello here on the channel. It's called Concerto in, I don't remember, by Reading, something like that. And thank you for all the lovely comments on that. However, as has happened many times before, when I've uploaded those sort of other sort of clips, which I do sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes, a bunch of people chooses to unsubscribe, which is fine. I'm not keeping anyone against their will, I hope. If you want to leave, that's fine. And I'm guessing they are not here to hear me say this, but just, I mean, it makes logic sense that for everyone who chose to leave, there are at least a few of you who are still here who considered leaving. So I just want to mention that you do not have to watch those clips if you don't want to. No feelings hurt. If you are just interested in sort of the knitting stuff, that's completely fine. No feelings hurt, unless you're being rude about it, then my feelings are hurt. So let me tick that box, because I did mention it, because I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it. I do pop up those sort of clips every once in a while, but not that often, and again, don't watch it if you don't want to. That's totally fine. I also just want to mention, just let me pass this marker so that I know where I'm at. I've mentioned before that I was working on 2 patterns, and I've mentioned that, and yes. So let me reach over. Again, I have so many things here today. You've seen the projects as I've worked on them. Let me start with this. This is a wrap or a shawl. It's L-shaped or V-shaped with mitered squares. And there's a lot of front to this shawl or wrap, which I do enjoy. It is a little bit like a cardigan, but not. So I did knit this, excuse me, a while ago, and someone asked me if I would write it down, so I have. Let me just show it. It's just called Mitered Wrap. It's up on Ravelry for free. It just looks like this. So this is not really, do you see that? Mitered Wrap. This is what it looks like. So here's just pretty much a schematic, and then there is, so I wouldn't call this a pattern, it's more like a recipe. Yeah, it's up if you are interested. I just thought that since I've talked about making them, I should probably just mention that they are up. I'm sorry if this is a weird noise. That's up. Again, it's called just mitered square. I don't know, brain farts. And then I made this cowl with these lace columns, I guess. It is, oh, sorry, I don't even know what's going on with my nose. It's a bib style cowl. You start knitting it as a shawl and then you join it in the round. Oh no, I had a hairpin there. So it looks sort of like this, and you've seen it before. You've seen me working on this, and I also did make it with some handspun for my sister-in-law for her birthday. And someone asked if I would write it up as a pattern, and I have. So this is called Hallon. Let me pull it out to show you. I believe I printed it 2 times, so it will probably be enough if I show you one. So this is the first page of it, and there's a very blown out picture of me wearing it, so Hallon. And this is more of a pattern. This is also available for free. So some written instructions, obviously, and some more pictures, and then some charts. Because I did not write it out. Or I started and then transferred it to charts, so it looks just like that. And some pictures and some instructions. So I just want to mention that those are up, because I know that some of you asked for it. This bib style cowl, I used a yarn. Let me see if I can find what I've written. Yes. The yarn that I used for this, oh, thank God my head is attached, right? It runs at 92 meters per 50 grams. This finished cowl weighs 80 grams, and that's about 150 meters. But since you do knit the lace repeat and then for a given measurement, you could work with any yarn, any gauge, any needle. And I mean, the result would be thereafter. If you use something super chunky, it will be a chunky look to it, obviously. So yeah, I just want to mention that they are up. If you want to find them and you don't find them, please send me a message and I'll link you. That was weird. Okay, tick that box as well. And then I have another thing to talk about before we get into more of the knitting stuff. Because with all the less than awesome things that's been going on, I also have a piece of really good news to me. For me. So, for those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that last New Year's, pretty much, the choir leader or conductor, or I don't know what word to use, that I used to sing with, chose to quit that job and to start another job, which was completely understandable, even though it sucked, because I really, really enjoyed him as a musical leader, I guess, and singing with that choir and so on. I'm trying to not look rude when I'm looking down when I have the knitting out of frame, sorry. And last spring it was sort of okay, but not awesome, and then after the summer we got a second new leader to the choir, and around Halloween, what's the other, All Hallows Eve? Is that the more like calmer thing? That's more of what I don't really do Halloween. However, at that point I just really had enough and I walked out of there because she was mean and it was not okay anymore. And the thing is, when she started after last summer, there was a choir. By Christmas there was no choir. So there were meetings and talks to see what we were going to do about this, but nothing's happened. I did sing with another choir over Christmas pretty much, just to stay sane-ish. Because as I guess knitting is for a lot of us, knitting is something that I enjoy, but it's also something that I need, you know? And singing in a choir is just that for me. I really do enjoy it, but it's also something that I need. And I haven't really had any good choir experiences in, about a year now, which sucks. So I decided that, now it's time to, take responsibility for the situation that I am in, no matter why I am in it. It's time to, do something about it. And tea is going on over there. So I researched and I found 3 choirs in my town that I thought might be, at a good level for me, because I do have some musical education, and I don't mean to say anything negative about like church choirs and open choirs like that, because they are awesome, but I am on another level and I need to be nourished, if you will. However, auditioning for or trying out for a choir has also always scared me a lot, but now I realize that maybe that's exactly what I need to do. So I researched and I found 3 choirs that actually do hold auditions for anyone who wishes to join the choirs. And one of these choirs I found to have probably the repertoire that would suit me best, which is a very mixed repertoire with both like classical, big, pieces, and also some like more pop rock, modern stuff in a choir setting. So closer to Glee, as in the TV series Glee, even though I don't think we would be doing anything that modern, but like some ABBA and that sort of thing. So I got in touch with them. I went onto their website and there was like a blurb saying and I just realized I haven't looked up this word. Is it called bass even for the singing? I know it's soprano also and tenor, but I don't know if it's bass. I'm guessing it is. So they were looking for guys with low voices. And said like, do you want to sing with the choir? If you're a bass, please don't hesitate to get in contact. And I was like, well, I'm not that low, but I'll get in contact nevertheless. So I did. And I asked, you know, what's the situation like? Because this is a smallish chamber choir, 30-ish people. So I mean, it's way bigger than the choir I used to be in, but it still needs to be sort of balanced. So maybe there were plenty altos and not really room for one more. But I got an answer back very quickly saying that you are very welcome to try out. Regular rehearsals. Sorry, I don't even know. Regular rehearsals are held on Thursdays at 7, and if you want to stop by on Thursday, which then was last week, at 6:30 we can do the little audition. It's quite an unofficial or like low pressure thing. I mean, it's not auditioning to star in a Broadway show or anything, but you know, just to get a little feel for the applicant's, I guess, voice and range and level. So I did that last week and I was a bit nervous. To be honest, I wasn't very nervous about the actual audition because, yeah, I didn't think it would be, you know, that huge a deal, and I know that I am not a bad choirist. But still, I was kind of nervous because you never know in a new group like that what the atmosphere or the social context is going to be. I mean, I thought that they were going to be nice and everything, but you never really know. It could be sort of a, you know, what's the word? Competitive atmosphere, and sort of, you know, the new one needs to prove their point. I didn't think it would be, but if there is a chance for worrying, I'm all over it. So I was nervous. But it worked out fine. I posted a little film clip to Instagram when I left choir practice last week, as those of you who follow me there might have seen. And I was so thrilled. So I was obviously asked to join the choir, or if I was asked if I wanted to join the choir, and I said yes. Yes, please. And then I joined them for rehearsal last Thursday, and it was so amazing. It was great. And then we had my second rehearsal yesterday, then, obviously. And it is just so amazing. And it's so hard. It's so challenging, which is... Excuse me, or excuse you, humidifier. It is so challenging, which is something that I haven't had for a long while. And it's just lovely. And it's the best. I mean, when I left yesterday, I was so tired. I mean, it's mentally exhausting in a very, very good way. So I was so thrilled. And I'm loving it. So that is bringing me such joy and energy in all this other crap. Excuse the language, it's just... it is. Yeah. So, that's some pretty awesome news to me, and I am, again, keeping track on my increases. So let me check that box. Again, I've been just taking some little notes not to forget the things that I really want to mention. Other than that, this past 2 weeks, they've been pretty normal, nothing really fancy. Well, the funeral, obviously, or fancy, but you know, out of the ordinary. And I thought that I would just mention that we had a new prince being born in Sweden. So Crown Princess Victoria had a baby boy. I believe they called him Oscar. He was born like day before yesterday or something. Yeah. Brain fart. So he is, what do you say, third in line to the throne. So that's, I'm guessing, a pretty big deal. I'm not a royalist. I don't keep up what's going on and stuff, but that seemed to be pretty well followed in media. I don't even know what I'm saying. So yeah, if you are interested, because I know that some people are really interested in like the royal families of Europe and such. So if you are and you have missed that, check it out, I guess. Okay. Let me just do this increase as well so that I'm back around to the start of the round, and then I will start showing you my knitting stuff. Because again, there is some stuff to show you this week. Hats and cowls. What have I written down? Last episode I showed you. Let me lean over, because I've had to put the things, you know, all around here, because again, there are a lot of things. And also, sorry for the bad lighting last time. I tried fixing it a little bit in post-production. Probably didn't look that great. Sorry. It is what it is. I am catching better daylight today anyway, so. In the end, and the darkest end of last week, I did show you these. Oops. These are hats and cowls. I believe this... No, I don't know. I was gonna say which one it was that I tried on. It might have been this one, I don't know. So last week I had knitted 2 cowls and 6 hats, which are these then, for charity, using like all the scrap yarns that I had in a bunch of different weights, holding sort of 5-ish strands together, so you can see that these two are sort of the same colorway, if you will, but there are some differences between them as well. Oh, I really did not think this through. And then the colors changed where I needed to add in another skein. And again, I did show you this last week, but it was kind of dark, so I'm just quickly showing them again. I knit these on size 9mm needles, and then 2 cowls from last week. And I just want to show you, because this looks crazy, doesn't it? So this is, what is it, 40 centimeters, I believe, and with these huge needles. And I also have the DPNs, which I used for the crown decreases. So they just look crazy. These last 2 weeks, yeah, I've knitted some more. I don't know if it's the pollen season that's starting, but we have snow here today. We usually get when pollen season starts here, that's usually because it started in North Germany, and it's brought with the wind. So I don't know. Something's going on with my nose anyway. To manage my scrap yarn, because this was also a bit of a stash bust, I needed to get 4 extra balls of 50 gram skeins, or yeah, just to manage so I don't have them to show you, and it's nothing to show really, but so to manage the end of the yarn, I made 3 headbands, and to manage like, do you call them headbands? I think you do. Sort of, and I'm trying to avoid the hairpin that I have there. Sort of just like this to keep your earworms. And to manage the very, very last bits, what's going on with my hair, of the yarn, I made these I-cord flowers to embellish with, and these were the yarns that I got. So 1 solid beige, 1 solid green, 1 solid grey, and then this is the same. It's self-striping variegated thing, whatever. So I managed, as I said, the very last scraps of yarn for this with those flowers, and again these headbands to yeah. So I made those. I made 2 more cowls, and I've written it down just to make sure that I keep everything in yeah. So 1 cowl like that, and this is the same same needles and everything, so this goes, you know, with the stuff that I showed you before. And then I made 14 hats. So let me quickly just try to balance this on my lap. They look sort of like this, and they are in different sizes and obviously different colors from, or because I held different yarns together, and I want to just show you the size difference, so I'm putting it to the side for now. I ended up with a lot of blues and greens towards the end. But I don't mind. So this is probably one of the smallest. So I made some different sizes, as I said. They range from 36 to 48 stitches in the round, the hats does. And the cowls, I didn't really count those stitches. Or the, what do you say? The stitch count for those. So this is a really good stash bust. And I had a lot of scraps, and like, you know, half balls and stuff that I didn't really use or need anymore. And that's the last one. So let me just show you, because I do believe that this is one of the largest. This would easily, you know, fit someone with a huge head. I have a pretty big head, and this is very loose on me. So this is definitely an adult size, or some kids have huge heads as well. And this is probably like the smallest size. Yeah. I am not really keeping tabs. I know that some people are, you know, weighing or measuring in yards or meters, like yarn in and yarn out of stash to keep. I'm not really doing that, but since I was curious, I did weigh the finished objects just to, yeah. So not last week's, but last episode's batch, those 6 hats and 2 cowls weighed in at 825 grams. And this week's batch with 3 headbands with the flowers, 14 hats and 2 cowls weighed in at 1400 grams. So that makes for 2,225 grams, which is 2.2 kilos. Just over 2.2 kilos. And as I mentioned, I did get 200 grams extra to even it out. And because I wanted to. So 2 kilos out of stash. Not too bad. And yeah, so our church has, what do you say, a sister church in Romania, and they help the town with an orphanage, and so we send a lot of stuff there, so I'm gonna send these hats and stuff there, and I believe that they are gonna be welcomed. I hope so. And I did mention last week, which is something that the yarn qualities vary very much in these hats. Some are like really good yarns and some were really not. But with them being so squishy and a lot of yarn held together, and they're like the fabric is thick with all the yarns, they are going to be very warm even though they aren't 100% wool. I think some of them might be actually, but not all of them. But just the air kept in will make them warm, so that's very good. So yeah, 2 kilos out of stash. That's good. That's the proper finished objects that I have. Then I have a knitting related finished object. I needed a new case or purse or I don't know, for coins in my car for parking. And I didn't have anything that was good enough, and then I was looking for something else, and I found this. I've used it obviously, so I cut it off right here, but I had knitted this a while, many years ago. I believe this is Straps Eskimo, something like that, so it's a heavy yarn, or a thick yarn, and it's been felted in the machine, and I didn't really know what to make with it. It was sort of almost a swatch, I guess. Yeah. So I kept it around just to... I'll probably figure out something or need it someday. I have a similar thing that I've cut out, what do you say, like soles, feet, out of that I keep in shoes when it's really, really cold. Anyway, I cut it off and I made this. So I pretty much just sewed it up by hand, and you can see it. It looks really handmade, but I think it looks handmade in the good way. And I installed a zipper, which I also sewed in by hand, as you can see. And yeah, as I said, I'm gonna keep spare coins in here, but it could totally be like a pen case, you know? Or I was actually thinking, so I might use this. And I have some other pieces as well to do, because this would totally work as a either words notions pouch. Yeah, notions pouch. Or what's the other word? Needle case. Because with it being, do I have a good needle? With it being felted, it won't, I mean, you could poke the needle through. This is a 2.5 mil needle, so it's pretty, you know, something like the 9 mil needles that I put over there, they would never come through, but something like this, but you really sort of need to poke it through. So you could, and also if you have it like a notions pouch, if you have like your darning needle, you could totally just, you know, keep it. Again, you need to work for it. It's not just gonna let the needle through, but you could, you know, keep it safe on the... Do you even see it? Yeah. It could be popped on the side like that. And I kind of like, I mean, it's really sturdy, so yeah. I'm bringing this out to the car though, for parking coins, as I said. But I really did enjoy this idea. I was looking through, because I thought of it, and then I went through my sewing stuff, what do you say, like haberdashery things. And I had like 2 zippers at home, one of which was exactly the right length. I mean, exactly the right length. So that's kind of cool. So that's, I didn't knit that now, but yeah, it's a finished object and it's knitting related. Yes, some tea. I'm drinking mint tea today, peppermint tea, because it's good. I just spilled some. It's okay, it's okay. Then I have some works in progress. I have and for those of you who follow me on Ravel Instagram, you might already know. Out of this yarn, which is Zazu yarns, this is the colorway Neptune, and it's a sock yarn. I've talked about it before. And now it looks too blue. I believe it looked too green last. I was knitting the skew sock. And I've done the heel, and I'm working up the leg, and it's a really weird sock. It's wonderful. I've made it before and I really like it. But you make it, it's a weird construction. You just really need to go with it. So this is the heel, and then I worked up the leg, and I tried it on, and it's too small. Had it been in another yarn, I would have no problems knitting these up and then gifting them to someone who has smaller feet than I do. But I am so much in love with this yarn, I really want this yarn for myself, so I'm not gonna do that. And if I were to rip it out to knit it longer, I would, and since you knit it on the bias, I would need to rip it out to sort of here, which is a lot of knitting. And I'm just sort of fed up with it, so I'm gonna frog it. And that's really, I so admire the knitters who are like, oh, I need to frog it, and that's okay. It's a big deal to me. I wish I would take it more lightly, but I don't. So I'm a bit upset. It's totally my fault. It's no fault of the pattern. It was just that I was way too eager. I hope you don't hear the humidifier, but it's gurgling. What was I saying? Yes, it was completely my fault. I was too eager to be done with it, or get to the next section. Oh, it looks really, really pooly on camera. It doesn't look all that pooly in real life, actually. It is pooling a bit, but it doesn't look that bad in real life, because there are more nuances in it. Well, never mind. So this is going to be ripped out. I haven't done it yet. Because it hurts. It hurts. Then I am working on the sweater that you've seen before. It's out of sock yarn, self-striping, and this is actually going to be really big with a lot of positive ease. It is all scrunched up on the needle, so it doesn't look all that big, but it is. This stitch progress keeper is where I was last week, or 2 weeks ago. So it's gotten, you know, a few, I was gonna say a few inches. I'm not doing inches, I'm metric. About a decimeter. I don't think you're saying decimeter in English, even those of you who are metric. So 10 centimeters is 1 decimeter. 10 decimeters is a meter. Makes sense. So yeah. I do like how this self-striping sock yarn works up. It is chaotic, but it's still sort of striping, and I think it looks kind of cool. No, I think it looks really cool. So I'm very much enjoying it. But yeah, it's a big project. It's going to be ongoing for a while. But I have that, and then, so obviously a lot of time was spent knitting on the hats and cowls and stuff. And then I spent quite a lot of time knitting on the sock, which I put right over there, as you might have seen. But when I realized I need to rip that out, instead of doing that, I cast on all the things, or at least 2 new things. In the same morning. both of which I'm just about to show you them, both of which I had to rip back out and cast on again. So I cast it on 4 times that morning, but I only have 2 projects to show for it. So first off is this that I was just knitting on. This is going to be another sweater. It's knit top down with raglan increases, and as you can see I'm not very far into it. This is... No, I didn't bring... In my head I was thinking I would wear this sweater today, but I obviously don't wear it today because I'm wearing a shirt. I made a sweater out of this yarn in June, I think, of last year. This is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, 50 grams for 90 meters, and it calls for 5mm needles. So it's a larger yarn. I do think that no, I don't know. Let me pull up my needle gauge. Yeah, I am working with 5mm needles. I thought I was knitting with 4.5s, but these are... Sorry! That was way worse than I thought it would be. I thought it would just be the bang, but... Earthquake. Everyone is okay? Okay? Sorry, I will not be doing that again. I usually need to go down a needle size because I am a bit of a loose knitter. I was using my 4.5mm needles in next project I will show you, so I decided to go with this. I am going to make because I have green and 2 skeins of blue, which were the colors that I used in the other sweater. I'll show it to you at some point. I showed it to you last summer. So this isn't a whole lot of yarn. I don't know actually how long it will last for, or how much it will... What am I trying to say? How much sweater I can get out of it. My plan is to knit a short sleeve sweater anyway. So again, it's the raglan increases, and I'm thinking when I divide for the sleeves and the body, I will probably just pick up the sleeve stitches and do like a few rounds of either ribbing or garter is my plan. But after that point, so it will just be, you know, a little bit longer than the length for when I divide or separate from the yoke. And we'll see, I have this much left of the first ball, and then I have some more, obviously, so yeah. This works out pretty quickly with a larger gauge. And yes, I was saying, so with this being a t-shirt, I am planning, I mean this is, and it is cotton and acrylic, so it's not going to be that warm. So it is going to be like a summer's t-shirt. And then I was thinking, does it really... I absolutely don't mind for it to be a little looser and airier. So I'm working on that. And first I cast on to few, because I'm too lazy to do math sometimes. So instead of calculating it and swatching and all of that, I was just casting on and off I went, and it was too few stitches around the neck. So I ripped it out and added a few more stitches, and now I'm going again. I didn't make any sort of edge, I just started. I think I knitted 1 round straight before I started making the raglan increases though. So it is going to roll, and I kind of like that. Second new project that I cast on was with my most recent hand spun, which kicked up into a huge cake. This is, or I've obviously started knitting with it. It was about 260 grams, so it is. It was a large skein, and it's a heavier weight. I finished this just a few weeks ago, so you might remember it. It is a 3-ply with 2 lighter greys and 1 darker grey, with some wool from Öland. I am making just a very plain shawl. The idea is to join it in the round in a while to make a sort of bib style cowl like this, but without the lace pattern. So this is just very straight, plain knitting with the central trying to catch the light, spine going down there, and just make one left and make one right. I was thinking about making a yarn over and then knit that stitch, but that makes for a hole, which I have in this, and I like that look in some cases, but I didn't want that in this. So both for the middle and the up here side increases, I am making one left and making one right, and then I have 2 stitches of garter for the border. So this is going to be quite rustic. This is knit on the 4.5mm needles, and it's quite, I mean, it's not bulletproof by any means, but it's quite dense, and it's going to be, you know, heavy and warm and rustic, and I like it. I started this. What was wrong with this? I think I had done the... Yeah, I think I just did 1 garter stitch for the edge and then the yarn over for this edge and not here. Can you hear my stomach? I really need to get lunch soon. And that just looked sloppy. So I ripped it out and did this, and I'm happy with this. So those are my works in progress knitting wise. Then I have another work in progress spinning wise, and I kind of like this. It looks real. I don't even know. Sorry. I've shown you this before. This was a braid of hand-painted BFL. The colorway is Midnight Pine Forest, and I think that's a really good name for this colorway because it really is the Midnight Pine Forest. I've split the braid lengthwise in 2. So this section has much more of the blue. The section that I've already spun up had more of the green, and what would you call this? It's not really teal, it's too pale for teal, but yeah. So I've spun half, as I've said. It looks like this. And those colors come out really well. So you can see that the blue is here, and then there is more of these colors in this. And there are layers, of course. So I will spin up the second half as well, and then I will make it into a 2-ply. I was gonna say something. I completely lost it. I don't know. I believe this is dyed on grey wool, which makes for beautiful deep tones, and I really enjoy it. And as I said, I really do think that this looks like a pine forest at midnight. I'm loving it. Sorry. I know very little about spinning, or the theory around it and everything. I don't know what things are called. The last few projects that I've done, including this yarn, I've been spinning. I have my wheel right here. And when I've spun on it, I've preferred to spin what I think might be called worsted. No, I was gonna say woolen. What I think might be called woolen, but I don't know. I've been enjoying spinning from, you know, just sort of a fluff of fiber. I'm guessing it's carded or combed. I don't know what it is, but it's arranged slightly. But then you have this just big fluff. Whereas this, and I'm not sure if it's the proper way to say it, but this is, comparatively, this is pre-drafted. Am I making sense? I hope so. I've spun from braids before, or roving, or yeah, and yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I've preferred to spin from fluff bat. I don't know what it's called, because I haven't really enjoyed spinning from the braids that I've spun from before, because they've been like, I don't know, hard to pull apart, and yeah, I don't know. However, this worked up really, really quick, or the first section, of course, worked up so quick, and I enjoyed it so much. So, okay, so my thinking was that, well, maybe this fiber prep just won't be my favorite, and that's okay. But when I've tried this specific braid, I'm thinking that, because I haven't spun a lot at all, and I haven't spun many braids, or roving, or whatever it's called. Sorry. But maybe the ones that I've done before were differently prepped than this, and I don't know in which ways, if so, but maybe this suits me better, and maybe I should not just, you know, call off all braids. That's something. I've been thinking about it, and I am very much enjoying this, as I said. So it's going to be a 2-ply, and I think it's going to be gorgeous. And I am not very consistent, but in thickness, but it's getting better. I imagine that I can see some improvement anyway, so that's good. And the other day I was at Netto again, which is that sort of, well, it's not a big bookstore, it's like the leftover odds and ends sold not very expensively, and sometimes you get gold and sometimes you don't type store. And they have, a lot of times they have yarn. I bought this yarn there. Oh, it doesn't really show up well, and now I have my tea in my hand. This sock yarn. And I've showed it to you a million times, and I do enjoy it. It's good sock yarn. I was there one of these days, and I had like the most stressful day so far, and everything was just... And so I saw yarn, and I was like, yeah, yes I am. Why? Yes. You can just about make out the green shawl hanging there. So that's, for those of you who watched my little house tour on the end of last week's episode, no, last episode, okay, so this setup, as I mentioned, it's new. The placement is slightly new. You'll probably recognize yourselves in my huge apartment. But through there is, just behind the white door that you see there, is the, what do you say, like the exit door. And so this is the shelf at my door. And you can make out the green shawl right over there, which is the Linus shawl that I was knitting on forever in like December and January, I believe. Which was made out of a bright green and some blues and some yellows of a thinner wool yarn. I found the same yarn is what I'm getting at, but in red. So I bought 3 skeins. I bought 3 skeins, which is the same amount that this shawl used. And that's pretty big. And you can see, so it's not really, it's blowing out a bit, but the main color is red, orangey red, and then there are streaks of yellow and deeper, well, absolutely not purple, but somewhere between like wine, maroon, purple-ish. But it is Like seen from, that's probably kind of right. Doesn't help that I'm wearing this shirt, I think. But seen from a distance, I would say it's coming across as just a little bit more orange than tomato, sort of. So I got 3 skeins of that. No, skeins. I got 3 skeins of that. So I haven't decided if I am going to make the same sort of Linus shawl or if I'm making something else. 50 grams per ball, and that's about 200 meters. So I have a lot of yarn. Haven't decided. I'll make something. That's the only acquisition that I have knitting wise this week, or this episode. I have one other thing to mention as well. And the tea is just getting cold, so I'm trying to finish the last bit. Do you like my mug? I really, really, really like this. I don't know what the series is called. It's by Itala? And the series is called something. I don't remember. Oh, tea leaf in my mouth. These are pretty kind of pricey, and this is not really something that I enjoy spending money on. I got one of these mugs, but with a blue background. And then I dropped it when I was doing the dishes and it cracked. And it's still holding together, but it's cracked. You can see it's cracked. So I knew that if I would ever pour water in it, it would fall apart. And I was so sad, but then I decided, or then I figured out that, so I'm keeping that on my shelf with the teas to keep my tea, what do you say, these things? Doesn't really show up against my shirt when they're not being used, obviously. And then we went somewhere, I don't remember, and I found this and I was like, yes, I need it. So I really like it. It just bothers me though that I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Fairy Tale Woods or no, I don't know. I don't know. That company does a lot of like Moomin stuff too. I also want to mention, this is the handbrake-ish cowl that I knitted way back. It's inspired by the handbrake cowl by Dan and Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. But it's not really a handbrake cowl, but it is inspired by a handbrake cowl. Excuse me! You should never rush drinking tea. This is knit out of cotton yarn in, as you can see, a lilac-y colorway. And I made this swirling at a lower angle, I guess, because I made it on every row. And not really any edging, and I made it really tall. However, I don't use it for some reason. So I was thinking, and then I was listening to one of the Swedish audio podcasts, or 2 of them have been talking about sticking and cutting your knitting recently. I will be right back. Because I totally forgot to bring this cardigan. Cardigan's the word. Let me button it up. I've been doing one knitting, cutting my knitting project, and it was all good. It went fine, but the idea still scares me. So it occurred to me that I could try knitting or cutting this, which is cotton. I know. But I'm thinking I could still try. So I'm going to cut that open, try to secure the edges obviously, and then make a stick sandwich edge around all of it, and that will become sort of a baby blanket. and I actually do believe that it will be pretty big for a baby blanket. But with it being cotton, that could be good, I think. And if it would completely fail, then it wouldn't really... Yeah, so this is the length. It's sort of my torso in length, and then it would be double the width. So I'm thinking I will try that. This cardigan. Oh, my brain is all over the place. So I have yarn in my stash that I want to knit a cardigan out of soon. And I'm thinking that I should really knit it in the round and then stick it, or cut it open. Because I've recently learned that to stick something is not to cut it. The stick is the stitches you put in where you prepare to cut it open. And as I said, I've done that once before, and that was the cardigan that I run to get. So let me first just... This pinkish, this green and this yellow were wool yarns that we dyed at the mushroom dyeing class that I went to. And then these in-between greens were just some stuff that I got. I'm not a big yellow fan, but this yellow is just amazing. However, I did not know what to do with these yarns, so I decided to make them into this crazy cardigan. The waistline looks really weird. It's been in a drawer for quite a while. I never really used it. So I completely made this up, adding these lace panels to the front, and then I had some extra stitches in between, and then I cut it open. I used the crochet method, so you can see here on the inside that there is a ridge where I crocheted, and then I picked up stitches and knit the bottom bands. And this is not the same, you can kind of see it. It's not the same color. It's a fourth yarn. But then I used that all the way down. It's so hard to show you. I did a pretty good job weighing out the yarns so that the striping would be the same on the sleeves as on the body, which actually worked out really well. The sleeves are a little bit longer than the body. And there is some shaping in the back which went horribly wrong, and I had to drop back. You can see the ladder right there. I dropped back all this way. I had like one stitch here, and then I dropped it down, releasing all the decreases, picking up all those stitches and knitting it back, doing the decreases on the other way, and then it wouldn't really even out. So I was able to be that brave with this cardigan because I wasn't really invested in it. It didn't mean all that much to me, and I am not happy with how this comes out. I like the lace pattern panels, but it's sort of feather and fans, I guess, the stripes, and I don't like that. I'm not a huge fan of these colors together, and it is actually quite scratchy. So since I wasn't amazingly thrilled with the prospects of the finished object, I was able to be very brave with this. And I'm very happy that I made it because I learned a lot. My idea was to use it as sort of a layering piece for really cold days. And since I made this, we haven't had that cold days. Because, I mean, it's good yarn, it's just that I don't love the way it looks. So, I was thinking I need some more cutting and securing the sticks practice before I dare doing it in a cardigan that I am very much looking forward to make. I haven't yet decided what I want to make, but I'm thinking that to you know, level up in my knitting, I want to be more certain and comfortable also knitting, cutting my knitting. So yeah, my plan is to definitely swatch and cut the swatch in the yarn that I'm going to use and so on. But then I thought that maybe cutting this, even though it's cotton, I know, would be a good practice, and I just chipped my nail, and would probably help me not be scared, because if I mess this up, I can always blame it on the cotton, and if I succeed, then I know that, hey, this is cotton, and if I'm cutting in non-superwash wool, it'll be so much easier, or less, I don't mean fragile, but less risky, I guess. So I am currently gathering courage to do this, and I am trying to hold myself to having it at least cut open for for next week. I'm not sure I will be able, because there will be a lot of edging to do. So I'm not holding myself to have it finished, but yeah, I'm gonna cut it. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. I had a question on, I believe it was on the cello playing clip, it might have been somewhere else, about sort of my musical background. And my plan was, and I'm sticking to that plan, to talk about that at next, or possibly even a later date than that, next episode, because I might not remember it next week. I haven't forgotten it, but this is long enough already, so I see you. I also have found some new to me podcasts that I want to mention. But I think I'll, you know, do a little list and do that at another episode as well, because yeah, I've been talking for a while. It is actually not as bad as I feared it would be, so that's good. Oh, my thumb looked really, really weird. And I've talked about all the things on my little list. Good. Tonight, recently I've joined a group, what do you say, locally, and tonight they are holding like we're gonna cook together, and it's sort of a welcome all new members thing, so I am really nervous. I mean, I want to meet new people, I like meeting new people, but it always scares me. My brother also joined this group, so he was going to be there tonight as well, but he had to cancel. So I'm like, I'm still going, and I had to have a serious talk with myself that is not a reason enough for you not to go, young lady. So I am going, I am, but it scares me so much. I'm sure, I mean, I know chances are really, really good that I will go and I will leave there being very, very happy that I went and wondering why I was ever nervous, but that's just how that works. So I'm a little bit caffeinated, not really, but you know, like that. So yeah, that's going to be awesome, I believe. Which also means, and that's too late to tell you now, but I might be late uploading this, so as I said, I am currently obviously recording it. It's Friday lunch, but since I will be away, I will probably, because I will need to upload on the computer, and then, you know, it needs to be then pushed onto Instagram, no, YouTube. I might be late, but obviously you're not seeing this until I've gotten it up, so... But if you're wondering, that's the reason. If it is late, maybe it's not. I don't even know. Okay, I also just very quickly want to mention that I've started reading the third book of the All Souls trilogy, The Book of Life, and it's so good. So if you haven't read the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness, get it. It is amazing. Shadow of Night, sorry, is the first book, and no, it's not. A Discovery of Witches is the first book, and Shadow of Night is the second book, and The Book of Life is the third. And they are so good. Get them. The All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. And it is Penguin, what are they called? Penguin book. Is that what the company is called? Well, it's them who does this like special box edition anyway. I don't know if what else you can find, sorry. But it is really, really good. Yeah, it's just called Penguin Books. I thought it was called something longer. Well, anyway. Get it. It's amazing. It's really, really good. I will make some lunch now because I am so hungry. So thank you for spending some time with me. I have been lousy at responding to comments on YouTube. I will take time this weekend to answer, but I mean, I think that you can understand that it's been a tough time. I have read it all, and the support you've given me has really warmed my heart, so thank you very much for that. And it's not that I've been ignoring you, it's just that I haven't. What is it that he says? Bilbo. I feel like I only read this in Swedish. I read the rest of the books pretty much in English. I feel like too little butter spread out on too large a piece of bread. I think that's what he said. And sometimes I say I feel like too few tea leaves in too much water. And that's... I hope you understand what I mean. That's pretty much how I've felt lately, so I've been, you know, sort of focusing on... Yeah. I think you can understand. I hope so. But thank you very much for the comments, and I just lost the word. Support. Thank you very much. So if you want to comment, please do so. If you want to like, please do so. If you want to subscribe, if you haven't, please do so. Follow me on Instagram and be my friend on Ravelry if you want to. I'm sjomajlin over there as well. And get in contact if you want to. As I said, I feel as though I'm now in a place where I can promise you that I will make an effort to be better at responding. I am not promising... I can't make any promises about the result of it, but I can make you the promise that I will be better at trying, at least. So, don't hesitate if you want to get in contact with me. Otherwise, I will see you here next week, I believe. Or otherwise, you'll notice. Please take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and to one another. That was a weird song. I don't know. Knit. Drink tea. Stay safe.